Something that I noticed about this Instagram stuff, YouTube stuff, this internet stuff, this online stuff that really gets me thinking a lot about. I just see a whole lot of people talking, but not a whole lot of people actually doing anything. There's a whole lot of talk on I don't want this and I don't like that, but then you're not doing anything to like make anything changes happen with it. You're not doing nothing. You're just up protesting. I'm not shopping here, I'm not doing this no more, and that's just what it is. And it's like, well, if you're just talking about it, not doing anything about it, what's gonna change? My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. There's something that I've just noticed that we as a people today that I don't know why, we just don't stand up and actually do stuff. We do what we say as opposed to just talking. We do a whole lot of talking nowadays, and I feel like that's why we run into the situations where stuff just happens to us and we don't really get a choice in the matter. Because when it comes down to such as like government and Congress, they don't care about what we talk. They care about what we do. And if we're just talking, standing with signs in the middle of the street, trying to protest and trying to say, I want this and I don't want this and this is stupid and this sucks and I want to get this out of here and we need more of this, what's that actually going to do as opposed to like actually putting something together of substantial value that is actually going to be able to benefit us as opposed to just talking that it's going to benefit us? We need to see, say like the proof. We need to put things together. We need to do some tests. We need to do some trials. We need to try out some stuff and just even a simple neighborhood to see, is this something that's actually going to work? Because we talk about it, it sounds good, it looks good, we think it might be all right, but is it actually going to be able to do something? And that's where, for me, I have a real good understanding of just knowing how our government system works. It works off of action. It works off of doing. And if nobody is coming at them with anything, with any better action, with any better plans, with any better system, they're just going to do what it is that they got to do. And it's not going to be for us to have any sort of say in the matter, because we're not coming with anything any sort of plan, any sort of outline, any sort of list, any sort of anything. We're just yelling, screaming, hollering, hooting, and just, I don't want this and I don't want this. It's like, cool, if you don't want it, then what do you want? That's something I don't think a lot of us really think hard about. What do you want? As opposed to what don't you want? What do you want your neighborhoods to look like? What do you want your food to look like? What do you want your clothing to look like? What do you want your schools to look like? What do you want the process of buying a home to look like? As opposed to saying, I don't like it. I hate how prices are going up and these prices and insurance prices. Well, if you don't like it, then what would make it better? What are you looking for? What is it that's going to be able to give a better level of success for the majority of people out here? As opposed to just saying, I don't like it. It's just an invalid answer. It's I don't like it and I don't care and I don't know. Those very, very invalid answers when it comes to us as human beings. For an animal, I guess you can maybe do something like that, but not really even with that. You have to have a good plan together. You can't just, I don't knows and I'm unsures and then just start to do some stuff. Like for me out here with some of my baby chicks, I change up my feed. I use a different kind to see, can I get a better level of success? And through about 2 weeks of it, I'm realizing like, actually, no, I'm not getting a better level of success. I have to go back or change or figure out something new so that I can get something, at least what I used to have, so that I can try to hopefully get something better. And that's something that I think that we as a people do in our government system. We do something so that we at least have what we've always had. And then we try things to see if we can get it to be better. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But we don't know until we actually put that plan in action. And that plan has to come in action based on having an outline, having a system, having something in place so that we can actually do and use it and figure it out. So then I can say, okay, that right there, that level of action did not do it. It didn't work. It made it worse. And it made it worse to the point that I started to get a little worried for a little bit about what's going on. And then I was like, okay, now I at least have to go back to what we used to have. And that's just what we keep doing as a society in this world. And it's something that we're never going to get into a better case if we don't say try something new, but also realize that the new isn't really helping. It isn't really doing anything for anybody. It really isn't expanding our consciousness to be able to be a better human being, better human species on this planet. What was that noise? But sometimes we try some things that we don't even have. This is where it gets dangerous. Where you're trying some new things and you're not thinking of like how it's actually going to work out. You're just like, I don't like that. Okay, then we'll do it this way. But I don't like that. Okay, well, we'll do it this way. You just always I don't likes, and nothing is ever good enough. Nothing is ever satisfying enough. And that's going to be a 100% fact on this life that we live every day. You're not going to like something that's going on. But it doesn't mean that it's not good for you. It doesn't mean that it's not going to help you. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be able to help the person next to you. And it may be even damaging you, but it's going to help majority of the people next to you. That's something that a lot of us should really think hard about, that we kind of get so personal with our own selves with every single issue that goes on this planet, not realizing that just because you're upset, there's actually 98 other people out of that 100. You and 2 other are upset, but 98 others are very, very happy with it. And we need to make sure that we're realizing that that's the way that this world works. That when we start introducing more people, we have more than just 2 people out here. We have to get the opinions of what's going on with everybody. We can't just, I don't like it, and then just have such huge negativity towards it, and then have such a even huge platform, a huge amount of money, invest amount this and that to be able to try to force upon everybody your view, when it's like only 2 of you out of the 100 are feel that way. But because the 2 of you have more money, in reality, you can make it and change it to be the way that you want it, and then just destroy the other 98 people. And that's not the way that we can live out here. And that's something that I'm seeing that's personally going on nowadays. That someone just says, I don't like this, and they have it in them. They have the means to be able to make a change, the means to be able to do something. And they want it to be changed to the way that they want it, even though you're going to just screw over 99% of everybody else, just so that you're happy, just so that you're satisfied, just so that you could have the world that you want. You would sabotage and just demolish everyone else because you are not happy with a certain circumstance. It's something that a lot of us should really think hard about, that sometimes we run into situations where we don't like it and we don't care for it, but we can't just have that knowing that it's going to harm everyone else around us because we have that in our heart. There's certain things that I just don't agree with. I don't agree. But it's not for me to say that because I don't agree, other people around me don't agree. It's something that I have to, in myself, say, well, if I don't agree, then how can I make it so my disapproval can still be heard, still be valid, still be okay, and I can still do what it is that I need to do without having to worry about putting myself into something that I disagree with. And that's something that I feel like I've been doing my entire life. That is a very interesting thing to be able to be a part of, is being able to just realize that I don't like what you're doing over there. You know what? I don't have to go there anymore. I don't approve of the rules that you have here. You know what? I don't have to go there anymore. I don't have to do that. I have the availability to be able to go to other places and other areas and other stuff to do. And that's something that a lot of us should really take to heart inside. We don't have to go to certain places. We don't have to be there, especially here in the United States of America. We don't have to do what it is that we do. You can go somewhere else and do something different. And for the person that says, oh, Mark, that's impossible, there's no such thing. No, you can do whatever you want to do. You can go wherever you want to go outside of, military closed off areas. But we can go where we need to go. That's going to be, I'm going to say, safe for us to be able to be and be for us to go. But sometimes we got it in our minds of, no, I got to fix everyone around me because I want to stay here. No, everyone around there wants actually you to just leave because of how much hostility you're bringing to everyone around. Try to force and try to manipulate. And then since you are such a person in a place of power, everyone else around you doesn't want to say anything to you. They almost want to liably, if that's a word, agree with what you're saying because they're frightened and scared that you could do something to them that's going to put them in a jam that could get them fired, for instance, because they don't agree with you, even though they don't agree with you. But they're going to act like they agree with you, and that's only going to build up your ego even more to think like, yeah, I am right, when you're not, because you're worrying about yourself and not worrying about everyone else around you. It's something that I just would want more of us to just think hard about. If you don't like the school system, who cares? Until you can come up with a system that's going to be better for it. You don't like how we vote? Who cares? If you cannot come up with a better system of how to be able to get it to be a better way. If you don't like the rules of the land, of the law of driving and how to register your vehicle and how to do speed limits and stop signs, who cares if you do not know how to make something different and come up with a plan to be able to change it? If you don't care about how someone wants to identify as a person on this planet, who cares until you can come up with a better plan, a better system, a better way to be able to push out a new idea out there. We have so many people today that are just protesting, I don't like this. And I'm going to say to you, who cares if you do not have it in you to have an idea of how to be able to make it a better place that you would see it being, and being able to put that plan out there for someone to be able to say, okay, I see what you're saying. That's a pretty interesting plan right there. And then for them to still say, you could accept it or reject it. But I can't accept it or reject you just rejection. You just saying, no, I don't like it. That's just invalid. That's not going to go anywhere. And we as a people need to really understand that we need to have things to push back at with what we don't like. Not just saying that we just don't like, because you need to have an idea of what it is that you do like. Because we're never going to know what you like if you don't tell us that. And that's something that I think a lot of us just skip. We skip all that. We skip all that when we talk about Congress people. We skip all that when we talk about presidents. If you don't like the presidents, who cares until you can figure out how to make it and do it and be it your own self to be able to do something better. That's something that a lot of us should really challenge a little bit more with, because you don't like who they are, and you're not coming up with a better system, a better way, a better person, then there's nothing that you can really say about it in reality, because you're not bringing anything to the table with any sort of ideas to make this better. You're just disagreeing, and just being a disagreeable person, that's a hard person to be around. And that's for me today to really understand that that's hard to be around a lot of people today, because you're just disagreeable and have no ideas on how to actually create and make things better. And with that, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for today, for such an interesting inspiration of things that I'm doing today, and things that I want to continue to keep on working on. That sometimes the way I talk is really serious, and I'm very thankful to be able to have that and be able to continue to keep doing that, and to be able to realize that not everything that someone has to say someone's going to like. But the biggest thing is, if you don't like it, then come up and say something, and I can even say something to my own self. If you don't like what I'm saying, then tell me what it is that you would want me to say, that you would want to hear, so that we can have a more of a discussion, as opposed to you just saying you're stupid. That's kind of silly. That's kind of childish. That's kind of meaningless and very, very pointless. And it's something that just doesn't go anywhere, because I've had this my entire life, and it's something to me that I would always just disregard, because it's like, if you don't have anything of value to say back other than just name calling, what's the point? Where are you going to get with that? What's going to happen with that? You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to make anything happen with that. You're just going to end up with the same level of non-success that you have, the same level of non-doing things that you're still not doing, the same level of frustration that you've just always had, as opposed to coming up with ideas and to be able to say, I don't like this. And just like some things that I think of when I don't like the education school system, mainly the elementary school system. But it's for me to come up with ideas of how to actually do it, and come up with my outline of, we should try it like this, and do this, and put this in place, and do that, as opposed to just saying, I don't like it. That's an amazing thing of us as human beings, so that when we can challenge things, we can actually come up with ideas and do things to be able to make sure that we could do something different, and not just be a dog where I just say no, and it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't need to explain a no to a dog. I just don't want them doing it. But I do need to explain a no to a human being, because then they need to have a good understanding of, well, okay, why not? And this is why not, because this, and this, and this, and this. All right, that makes sense. You can't just say no and just move on and act like that was good enough and that was okay. And I'm so thankful to be a person to be able to really understand that, to know that the only way that we're going to get things to be better is if you actually come up with better ideas, not just protesting. Thank you. Hey, Shadow. Hey, Shadow. You're such a big boy.